"Mouser, my handsome, we are all saved," said old Tom, "if we can but bring this haul home to harbour." But Mouser knew that the great storm cat would strike when he saw them run for the shelter of the Mousehole. She knew that the game serves only to sharpen the appetite for the feast to follow. "It is his meal or mine," thought Mouser, as she looked at the floundering fish in the belly of the boat. Blue, green and silver, they glistened in the greyness. It made her mouth water to look at them. As she thought of the morgy broth murmuring on top of the range, the stargazy pie growing golden in the oven, Mouser began to purr, and her purring rose like a hymn to home above the noise of the great storm cat's howling. Such music had not reached the ears of the great storm cat since the dawn of time, for when do cats purr out in the wind and the darkness? Puzzled, he paused in his howling, bending his ear to catch the strange sound. It seemed to him that he had once heard such a song long before, when he was no more than a storm kitten. The great storm cat grew quiet. Gone was his hunger for hunting, for making his meal of the mice men. Only the pleasure of the purring remained. Then the great storm cat began to purr with Mouser, and as the soft sound grew, the winds waned and the waves weakened. Night fell and the little boat sailed back across a slackening sea. As they came in sight of home, a strange sight met their eyes. The whole village of Mousehole was shining with lights and lanterns gleamed along both arms of the harbour. For when the people of Mousehole had woken to find old Tom's boat missing and a light left in his window, they knew that he had gone out to find fish for them, or to perish on the deep water. All day they had watched and waited, staring out into the cloud-racked sea, but they could see no sign of him. And when night fell, the women went home and set candles in all their windows, and every man lit his lantern and went down to the harbour walls. As they waited and watched, they saw that the wind was dying and that the sea was growing calm. The dark clouds lifted and a thin moon shone out between them. And in the light of the thin moon they saw a small boat coming, and behind it came the smallest, tamest storm kitten of a wind. As old Tom and Mouser came through the Mousehole Gap, a sudden breeze caught them, a tiny, playful cat's paw, like a gesture of farewell. There was a great deal of cooking in Mousehole that night. The people made a whole cauldron of morgy broth. They baked hake, cooked kedgeree, grilled fair maids, fried launces, soused scad. They baked 100 stargazy pies. Then, people and cats, they feasted together until the hunger was no more than a memory. And every year since that day, at the inn on the quayside, the people of Mousehole hold a fish feast on the night before Christmas Eve, and raise their glasses to the memory of old Tom. And every year, in the yard at the back of the inn, the cats of Mousehole gather, and raise a great howling to the memory of old Mouser. And every year, folk come from all over Cornwall at Christmas time to see Mousehole lit up with 1,000 lights, shining their message of hope and a safe haven to all those who pass in peril of the sea.